Have you ever felt it? That profound, almost sacred impulse to guard a new idea, a precious plan, like a fragile flame in a storm. The world screams at you to share, to be an open book, to broadcast your every intention. But a deeper, ancient wisdom whispers a different truth, a truth echoed by the most powerful souls throughout history. There is a divine power in what is left unsaid, an immense force in the silent execution of a plan known only to you and the universe. This isn't about deception, it's about sacred creation. It's about understanding that the moment your divine blueprint is revealed to the world, you are no longer the sole architect of your destiny. You become just one player on a cosmic chessboard where everyone else can now see your next move. If this resonates with a truth you felt deep within your soul, a whisper from your higher self, let me know by writing "I move in silence" in the comments below. Like this video and subscribe, for you are about to receive a transmission that will forever alter the way you navigate your destiny. You must understand that the world around you is designed to pry open your soul. It will come to you with honeyed words, urging you to speak your dreams, to share your vision, to lay your heart bare for all to see. They will praise this act, calling it transparency, a virtue of the highest order. They will celebrate openness as a sign of trust and camaraderie, and they will subtly, or not so subtly, cast suspicion upon your secrecy, labeling it as a symptom of distrust, a mark of a darkened heart. They will tempt you to believe that sharing your plans is a noble act, a gesture of inclusivity and confidence, but you must awaken to the reality behind this grand illusion. The man or woman who reveals their sacred blueprint before the moment of its divine execution is not noble. They are naive. They are not confident. They are unknowingly surrendering their most potent spiritual weapon. Power, true, unshakable power, is never earned by the one who speaks first. It is not found in the thunderous declarations of intent or the grand announcements of future glory. No, that is the frequency of the ego, the vibration of a soul that seeks validation from the outside world. True power is cultivated in the deep, resonant stillness of the one who listens, the one who observes, the one who gathers all the pieces of the puzzle while revealing none of their own. In every court of kings, in every council of elders, in every circle of influence from the ancient world to the modern boardroom, the true master, the spiritual operator, understands this universal law. They conceal their deepest intentions beneath a carefully crafted veil, a veil woven from pleasantries, vague gestures, and masterful misdirection. This master of energy knows how to navigate the social currents. They will nod at the appropriate times, offer a smile that reveals nothing, and even feign agreement on matters of little consequence. They might speak, but their words are riddles, beautiful clouds that obscure the mountain peak of their true ambition. They do this not from a place of malice, but from a place of profound understanding. They have awakened to a simple, unshakable truth. The more others know about your path, the more power they have to obstruct it. To reveal your plan is to send a cosmic invitation for sabotage. To speak your dream too early is to give your spiritual adversaries, both seen and unseen, the most precious gift of all, time. And time, in the hands of those who do not share your highest vision, becomes a weapon far sharper and more dangerous than your ambition alone. Look around you. Observe the energetic patterns of men and women. You will see that so many are addicted to applause. They are starving for validation, seeking it like hungry dogs begging for scraps from the master's table. Their need to be seen, to be recognized, to be praised for a victory not yet achieved, becomes a fatal weakness in their spiritual armor. They reveal their ambitions not as a calculated strategic move, but as a desperate cry of pride. This is a profound energetic leak, a fatal flaw that you must recognize and transcend. Praise is a seductive drug. It softens the steel of resolve. It dulls the razor's edge of your focus, and it makes you complacent. The moment your divine plan is known, it ceases to be a sacred seed growing in the dark earth of your soul and becomes a public target. Immediately, lower vibrational energies are activated. Jealousy, a serpent that lies dormant in many hearts, begins to awaken and sharpen its fangs. Opposition, which may have remained asleep, is suddenly stirred into action, alive with a newfound purpose to challenge you. Your enemies, and even those you thought were friends who may have remained dormant and neutral, are now mobilized. They are given a clear focal point for their own fears, their own insecurities, and their own competing ambitions. A true warrior, a spiritual adept, should never speak of what they have not yet accomplished. To do so is to create energetic expectations in the universe that you are now bound to, raising the bar and giving others the power to judge you, to measure you, before you are fully prepared to manifest your vision. You must learn to keep them guessing. You must master the art of letting them misunderstand you. For when they cannot predict your next vibrational shift, they cannot block your path. When they are lost in the fog of their own assumptions about you, you are in complete control of your reality. The truly cunning ruler, the masterful creator, speaks often, but reveals almost nothing of substance. They are storytellers, weaving tales and sharing anecdotes that serve as beautiful distractions. They offer compliments and engage in pleasantries, but they bury their real intentions deep beneath layers of charming irrelevance. It is not absolute silence that protects your divine power. It is deliberate, strategic noise. It is the art of misdirection. You must not remain mute like a monk in a vow of silence. You must speak, yes, but only to create a fog, a mystical mist through which you can move unseen and unhindered. People, in their spiritual slumber, believe they want honesty. They say they crave the truth, but what they truly yearn for is certainty. They want to be able to place you in a box, to define you, to predict you, so that they can feel safe. The truly awakened Machiavellian soul gives them neither honesty nor certainty in the way they expect. You must learn to leave them in a state of perpetual suspense, giving them just enough information to pacify their curiosity, but holding back the core of your truth with the surgical discipline of a master. Because once a plan is fully known, it becomes vulnerable to sabotage, not just from your rivals, but even from your allies. Remember this, for it is a crucial teaching. Even your dearest friends can inadvertently ruin you with a single careless word, a misinterpreted hint, or a fleeting moment of unconscious envy. The safest plan, the most powerful destiny, is the one they believe does not even exist. Every truly ambitious soul must integrate this truth into their very being. On some level, no one truly wants you to rise. Not completely. They may clap when you speak of your dreams. They may offer words of encouragement. But watch their faces, feel their energy. When you actually begin to achieve those dreams, their smiles will subtly twitch. Their eyes will narrow for a fraction of a second. Suddenly, your dreams are no longer cute, harmless fantasies. They are threatening. They are a mirror reflecting back what others have failed to achieve in their own lives. And if they know your next move, if they have your blueprint, they will subconsciously or consciously try to outmaneuver you. They will warn others, cast subtle doubts, and plant invisible seeds of resistance. The clever man, the wise woman, proceeds in silence, not because they are afraid, but because they are precise. A master does not show their sword before the moment of the strike. A grand general does not parade their battle maps before the war has begun. They plan, they prepare, they align all their forces in the unseen realms, and only when it is far too late for the enemy to stop them does the world learn what they truly intended. And by then, the world can only react. It can no longer prevent. That is the essence of true control. Do not ever confuse raw, unfiltered honesty with virtue. The fox survives not by announcing its path through the forest, but by vanishing into the underbrush. The lion attacks not by sending letters of intent, but by leaping from the shadows. Your words are a form of currency. They are seeds of energy. Spend them wisely. Every truth you give away is a coin placed in the hand of a potential enemy, and no enemy should be given tools for free. The man who cannot hold his tongue cannot hold power. It is a universal law. You must learn to take a deep, profound pleasure in your own silence. Let it become your shield, your sanctuary, your creative womb. Let others chatter. Let them leak their goals and broadcast their intentions, intoxicated by the sound of their own voices. You, in stark contrast, will walk in stillness. And as you do, they will begin to wonder about you. They will worry. They will whisper. And all the while, as they are distracted by their own noise, you will advance, undisturbed, along your chosen path. There is also a hidden pleasure in this, a certain cruel but necessary satisfaction in watching them guess, in observing them huddle together, trying to decode your movements, to anticipate your next step. Their confusion is your safety. Their uncertainty is your leverage. When no one knows your ultimate destination, every road you take becomes a possibility in their minds. This forces them to spread their defenses thin, to cover too many paths. They waste precious time, energy, and alliances trying to anticipate a move you were never going to make. And in that wasted effort, they weaken themselves. This is not merely a protective stance, it is a strategy of energetic erosion. Let them erode their own strength in the frantic pursuit of your ghost. Because when you finally do strike, you will not only hit the target, you will find it utterly defenseless, disoriented, and completely disarmed. Let others boast. Let others broadcast. You are not them. You are not seeking fleeting attention. You are seeking lasting dominion. You do not trade the sacred truth of your destiny for likes or premature praise. You understand that power is not given to the loudest voice, but to the last, decisive move. And the last move always belongs to the one who waited, the one who endured the silence, the one who bit their tongue while others sang their own praises. Because in the end, it is not the man who talks that shapes the world. It is the man who moves unseen. And here lies a cruel paradox you must embrace. Those who speak often are believed less. The more a man reveals, the more ordinary he becomes. His words, once potent, begin to lose their weight. His intentions, once mysterious and intriguing, are now dissected, debated, and diluted by the collective. He is no longer feared, only understood. And there is no lasting power in being merely understood. Power thrives in ambiguity. It feeds on the fertile ground of doubt. When they know what you want, they can calculate, they can counter, they can prepare. But when they are unsure, when they must guess, every move you make becomes a potential storm. You become larger than life. Your silence becomes a myth. They whisper about you in rooms you've never entered. They attribute a genius to your patience. They see a grand strategy in your every delay. This is the art of creating your own legend, not through excess, but through absence. Let your silence echo louder than their speeches. Your enemies, your rivals, even your competitors are always looking for patterns. They will study your behavior, your routines, your relationships. They are desperately trying to decode your rhythm, to find a predictable beat they can counter. Your sacred duty is to break that rhythm, alter your pace, confuse their calculations. Let them believe you are impulsive one day and painstakingly methodical the next. Smile at a rival just before you cut off their influence. Praise an ally just before you allow them to fall from grace. In every great power play, misdirection is the sharpened edge of the blade. Do not fight on a single predictable front. Appear weak where you are strongest. Appear bored where you are most focused. Appear generous where you intend to take. The silent strategist is not quiet because they have nothing to say. They are quiet because they see too much. And the more they see, the less they feel the need to speak. What others don't hear, they cannot stop. What they cannot name, they cannot kill. In a world saturated with noise, your silence becomes a form of spiritual violence. It unsettles. It provokes suspicion, and suspicion makes others act rashly, to make mistakes, to reveal their own hand. This is what you want. Let them feel uneasy. Let them make the first move. Remember this: the man who speaks first, almost always, bleeds first. Make them overstep. Make them reveal themselves, while you watch from a place of perfect stillness. Restraint is not passivity. It is power waiting for precision. A great general does not charge because he is angry. He waits until the battlefield is perfectly shaped in his favor. Then, and only then, does he strike. And his strike is final. Finality requires silence. If you are speaking, you are not watching. If you are watching, you are learning. Speak less. Learn more. Act once. Most men are ruled by their desperate need to be perceived as good, as honest, as transparent. But these virtues, when used without divine measure, become gaping vulnerabilities. The predator who disguises himself as prey survives longer. The diplomat who smiles while plotting conquest wins more cities than the general who shouts for war. You must learn to control your image. Say just enough to satisfy, but never enough to expose. Your greatest protection is the confusion you cultivate in the minds of others. Let them struggle to define you. Let them argue over your motives. And while they are drowning in their own speculation, you build your bridge across the chasm. While they debate your ethics, you seize the throne. This is not cruelty. It is divine design. History is not written by the transparent, it is written by the victorious. The tragedy of the modern man is that he speaks before he acts. He tells the world his dreams before he has lifted a single finger to build them. He shares blueprints, ambitions, and timelines, all under the delusion that this openness is noble. But nobility without power is a tragic joke. To announce your intentions is to hand over the very weapons of your own defeat. Imagine telling your opponent exactly where you will strike before the battle begins. Imagine showing a thief your vault's combination before the heist. The world does not reward honesty, it exploits it. Speak only when the reward for speaking vastly outweighs the risk. And until then, wear a mask. A kind one, a forgettable one. Let them dismiss you. Let them believe you have no teeth until it is far too late and they feel your bite. Even your allies must be kept in check. Do not give your full, unadulterated plan to anyone. Not because they are evil, but because they are human. And humans slip, humans talk, humans change. And even if they remain loyal, their knowledge can be extracted by others through persuasion, manipulation, or force. Every person you trust with your secrets becomes a potential door for your enemies to walk through. Shut those doors. Share fragments, never the whole. Test loyalty with subtle misinformation. See who repeats what. Mark those who leak. Reward those who remain silent. Your empire will not fall from a sword. It will fall from a whisper, if you are not careful. The strongest men and women in history were not those who roared, but those who whispered when the room demanded screams. Power does not need to declare itself. It is felt. It radiates through restraint. The emperor who reveals nothing forces his entire court to interpret everything. They begin to wonder, to doubt, to compete in their attempts to anticipate him. And this very uncertainty binds them to him. It keeps them obedient. It keeps them off balance. If they cannot predict you, they cannot rebel. If they cannot read you, they cannot betray you with precision. They will hesitate, and in their hesitation, they lose. Your silence becomes their leash. Those who wish to be feared should never be fully known. Familiarity softens awe. The more they see you, the more they think they understand you, and the less they obey. Distance, emotional, strategic, intellectual, is a weapon. Create mystery, withdraw at the height of attention. Let their curiosity about you ferment into an obsession. The more they want to understand you, the more they will stay close, and the closer they are, the easier they are to control. This is not deception for its own sake. It is the divine design of dominance. The man who reveals nothing can become anything. The man who reveals everything is trapped in the cage of his own openness. A ruler must never forget that loyalty is not guaranteed. It is purchased, negotiated, or manufactured through necessity. If they know your plan, they know when they are no longer needed. They know when to flee, when to switch sides, when to undercut you just before their usefulness expires. But if they do not know your endgame, they remain dependent. They serve not out of love, but out of a deep and unsettling uncertainty. They wait, hoping to secure their place in a future they cannot predict. That is leverage. That is rule by shadow. The greatest kings did not build thrones. They built illusions. The illusion of inclusion, the illusion of reward, the illusion of transparency. But behind it all, they carried a private map, a hidden intention, a destiny spoken only in the deepest solitude. So ask yourself, why do you truly feel the urge to speak your plans? It is not strategy, It is ego. It is a weakness masked as confidence. You want to be seen. You want your ambition to be acknowledged. But you must understand that acknowledgement from the world is worthless until the victory is already yours. Speak of nothing. Achieve everything. The graveyards of history are filled with men who revealed too much. Too soon, men killed not by the sword, but by the echo of their own words. Learn from their silence, not their speeches. The grave keeps secrets better than the living, and those who win in this life are those who keep their mouths shut and their moves hidden until the crown is already theirs. You will be tempted, especially when you are close to success. That is when the voice of your ego will grow loudest in your head, begging you to share, to impress, to flaunt what you have built. You must resist it. Nothing is more fragile than a nearly completed plan that has been exposed too early. That is when rivals sharpen their blades. That is when hidden enemies become bold. When the scent of your success leaks into the air, it draws wolves, not applause. And wolves do not celebrate your rise. They circle, they test, they attack. So let them stay hungry. Feed them rumors. Feed them lies. Feed them silence. But never, ever feed them your truth. The mastery of silence is not cowardice. It is cruelty refined into discipline. It is the art of watching your enemies speak themselves into circles while you gather everything and reveal nothing. Every question they ask you is a mirror. In it, they are showing you their weakness, their fear, their obsession with your next step. Smile, nod, say nothing of consequence. The more they ask, the more you learn. The more you learn, the more precise your eventual strike will be. Let them exhaust themselves. Let them make their move first. Then, crush them calmly, completely, and without warning. In the end, your plan should arrive like a shadow moving across the land, inevitable, silent, and far too late to stop. And when they finally ask, "Why didn't we see this coming?" let your silence be the only answer. Because the world does not belong to the loud, it belongs to the quiet minds who move in darkness while others sleep. It belongs to those who plan in silence, strike with precision, and speak only once the crown is already in their hands. You must understand, speech is a transaction. Every word is a payment. When you reveal your plans, you are trading away your power for attention, for approval, for applause. And applause does not fortify you. It weakens you. It makes you addicted to external affirmation. The more you speak of what you will do, the more pressure you place upon yourself to meet those external expectations. And pressure is the enemy of clarity. It clouds your vision. It makes you reactive. But when your plans remain hidden, you are free. Free to change direction, free to evolve, free to move without warning. True power requires that flexibility. The man who speaks too early has already chosen his battlefield, and it is one crowded with his enemies. The man who stays silent can choose any battlefield he pleases. Let them call you secretive. Let them accuse you of being distant, guarded, even cold. These are compliments. These are signs that you are no longer dancing for their amusement. You are designing for your own ascent. Warmth is a tool, not a constant state. When you are too open, you become familiar, and familiarity breeds contempt. Keep them at a distance. Let them admire your presence but never feel your full intentions. Let them see the edges, but never the center. They must crave more than they can ever understand. It is this hunger that keeps them near, that keeps them guessing, and it is in that guessing that your power grows. So be wary of the man who asks you too many questions. He is not curious. He is calculating. He is gathering weapons disguised as interest. When they prod, deflect. When they praise, redirect. When they offer their own secrets, do not reciprocate. It is almost always bait. The more you know about others, and the less they know about you, the wider the gap of control becomes. Use this imbalance. Use their openness as their vulnerability. Let them speak themselves into corners. Let them confess, overreach, and reveal. You stay still. You observe. You file away every detail. And when the time comes, your silence will speak through your action, and your action will be unanswerable. It is not enough to simply keep your plans secret. You must also master the art of false exposure. At times, let them think they have uncovered something. Leak fragments, half-truths, misleading clues. Let them feel clever. Let them believe they are gaining ground. This belief will lull them. It will blind them to the real movement happening just beneath the surface. A distracted enemy is a vulnerable one. Let them believe the battle is elsewhere. Let them rush to defend what you have no interest in attacking. And while they fortify shadows, you advance on substance. That is how empires are built, not just in silence, but in illusion. Control the narrative by starving it. When others know nothing, they begin to invent stories, rumors, and theories. They project their own fears and their own desires onto your silence. And this, too, is to your advantage. Their projections are often more powerful than the truth. They will overestimate you, underestimate you, and see things that aren't there, all because you gave them nothing to grasp. And in that nothingness, they build monsters. They assign you powers you may not even possess. Use this. Let your myth grow while you remain invisible. The man they fear is always more useful than the man they understand. But remember, this is not a game of paranoia. It is a discipline. You are not hiding because you are afraid. You are hiding because you are building. Great works are born in silence. The most magnificent cathedrals rise stone by stone, in quiet labor, for years, before a single bell is ever heard. So too must your empire. Construct it quietly, plan it in solitude. Let your nights be long, your maps detailed, and your steps rehearsed. But let the world see none of it. Let them sleep while you lay the foundation. Let them mock your silence and laugh at your restraint. When they finally wake, let them see a citadel where yesterday there was only air. And by then, it will be too late to resist. And when the world finally asks how you did it, how you rose, how you moved, how you conquered, smile and say nothing. Let your silence continue. Because the moment they know the method, they can replicate it or, worse, destroy it. Protect your philosophy as you protect your throne. Share the illusion, guard the truth, and keep your next move buried deep in the dark, where no light and no enemy can ever touch it. There is a reason why kings employ spies, why emperors read letters meant for others, why conquerors build walls around their councils. It is because information is not a luxury, it is survival. To know what others intend while keeping your own intentions hidden is the ultimate asymmetry. In every negotiation, every alliance, every supposed friendship, there is a silent war of disclosure. He who reveals first loses leverage. He who reveals last writes the terms. Your aim is not to eliminate this game, it is to master it. Understand that even in silence, you are speaking. Your presence, your expressions, your posture, all signal something. So you must learn to mute even the unspoken. Be unreadable. Let your demeanor become your first line of defense. If they cannot read your face, they will try your words. And when they fail there too, they will grow nervous. That nervousness is the seed of their obedience. Do not seek intimacy with the world. It is a seductive trap. Intimacy demands that you open yourself, that you reveal your fears, your goals, your weaknesses. But what is given in the name of closeness can be used in the name of conquest. Guard your interior like a fortress. Not even your closest advisors should know the full map. Remember, today's ally may become tomorrow's liability, and the one who knows too much can be turned against you with the slightest shift of wind. Even loyalty has a breaking point. Protect yourself with obscurity. Disclose only what cannot be weaponized against you. Everything else is sacred, private, untouchable. There will come moments when silence is not enough, when others demand answers, when the pressure to speak becomes unbearable. In these moments, you must learn the art of the controlled response. Say something that sounds like an answer, but gives away nothing. Speak in principles, not plans. Offer reflections, not specifics. Turn the conversation back on them. Let them speak more. Let them feel satisfied while you reveal nothing. Master the illusion of cooperation. Make them believe they've been let in, while they remain blindfolded. That is how you escape scrutiny while preserving trust. That is how you deceive without ever lying. To rule effectively, you must understand the theater of power. Appearances are tools. At times, you will need to appear open, even vulnerable. This is calculated weakness, a wolf in sheep's humility. Let them underestimate you. Let them believe you lack ambition, that you have no greater design. Feed this illusion with well-timed acts of modesty, perform simplicity, downplay your strengths, and when the time comes to strike, they will be paralyzed by their own misjudgment. The surprise will do more damage than the blow itself. Never underestimate the psychological power of being underestimated. The greatest rulers are not those who dominate through force, but those who guide by mystery, who keep their people close yet never familiar, who lead with charisma yet never fully reveal its source. There must always be a gap between you and them, a distance that cannot be crossed. It is in this space that awe is born. Awe is the gateway to loyalty, not through love, not through fear, but through wonder. When they wonder about you, they hesitate to oppose you, and in that hesitation, your power solidifies. You are not simply a man with a plan. You become a force they cannot define. Never forget, even time can betray you. A plan revealed too early can spoil, not because of opposition, but because of erosion. The longer a spoken intention remains unrealized, the weaker it becomes. Words grow stale, their magic decays. The plan begins to rot under the weight of expectation. Momentum fades, doubt enters. You must protect your ideas from time itself by concealing them until execution is inevitable. Speak only when the movement is already in motion, when the train has left the station and no one can derail it. Then speak with calm finality. Then reveal, but only to declare that the deed is done. And after victory, maintain restraint. Do not suddenly become transparent. Let your triumph raise more questions than it answers. Let them wonder how you managed it. Let them argue whether it was brilliance, luck, or divine favor. Offer no clarification. The mystique you preserve after victory is worth more than any confession, because while they chase your shadow, you are already planning the next conquest. And that, above all, is the lesson. Never reveal your plans. Not before, not during, not even after. Keep them guessing. Keep them off balance. Keep them beneath you. You will notice that those who reveal the most often achieve the least. Their energy is spent on explanation rather than execution. They mistake movement of the mouth for movement of the hand. They believe that being understood is a substitute for being effective. But in the arena of power, understanding is irrelevant. Only results speak. The battlefield does not care about your intentions. It rewards precision, not confession. And so the wise man grows quieter with each victory, not because he has nothing to say, but because he understands that silence is the final luxury of the triumphant. Even in defeat, you must preserve the mystique of silence. Let them speculate about why you failed. Was it miscalculation? Was it betrayal? Was it intentional? The more uncertain they are, the more control you retain. A clear failure invites pity. An ambiguous one invites fear. And fear, in small doses, is more useful than pity in large ones. Let your rivals walk away unsure whether they truly won. Let them feel uneasy about what you might do next. This lingering doubt is your shield, even in loss. Never show them the full weight of your intentions. Not in triumph, not in setback. Concealment is not a tactic, it is a doctrine. There will always be voices urging you to share, to collaborate, to trust. Be wary of these voices. They often wear the mask of wisdom, of community, of transparency. But behind them lies a hunger for access, for advantage, for leverage. They will call you paranoid, call you closed. But what they fear is not your silence. It is the fortress behind it. Weak men mock what they cannot penetrate. They call your quiet unnatural, your strategy manipulative. Let them. Your task is not to be liked, it is to win. And winners are rarely loud before the finish line. Consider this. The greatest shocks in history came not from announced invasions, but from silent ones. Not from the public threat, but from the unspoken danger. Caesar crossed the Rubicon not with speeches, but with steps. Napoleon returned from exile not with a declaration, but with a march. Power moves in silence, because silence bypasses resistance. The louder you are, the more opposition you awaken. But when you move quietly, by the time they understand what you've done, you've already won. That is how power operates, not in noise, but in inevitability. And so your life must become a labyrinth of half-truths, withheld intentions, and veiled direction, not because you are evil, but because you are effective. The world is not a stage for your dreams. It is a field of traps, waiting to consume the man who shows too much. You must become a shadow among silhouettes, a whisper among screams. You must train your face to smile while your mind calculates. Train your tongue to flatter while your will remains untouched. Every movement you make should carry two meanings, one for the world and one for yourself. The outer for misdirection, the inner for domination. If they ask you where you're going, tell them a direction you have no intention of traveling. If they ask what you want, give them a goal that distracts from your real one. Let them build their defenses in all the wrong places. Let them waste their strength guarding shadows. You do not owe the world your truth. Truth, in the wrong hands, is a weapon against its speaker. Let your enemies drown in their assumptions. Let them prepare for storms that never come. Meanwhile, you become the quiet force that bends the entire landscape without ever announcing your presence. And in your final breath, should it come with crowns on your head or daggers in your back, let them wonder still. Let them write books. Let them argue in dark rooms about what you truly wanted. Let your name echo with ambiguity, because in the end, the greatest power is not in what they knew about you, but in what they never could. If you've made it this far, it's because a part of you already understands what others still resist. A part of you knows that revealing too much has only ever led to regret, that silence isn't weakness, it's protection. And the moment you choose secrecy over validation, power over approval, you begin to walk a different path. Now, tell me in the comments, are you ready to be doubted, misunderstood, even feared if it means keeping your power intact? Are you willing to stop explaining yourself to people who don't deserve your blueprint? If this message struck a chord, if it woke something deep in you, then write in the comments, I move in silence. Let's see how many of you are done performing, and how many are ready to rule your life without asking for permission. And whatever you do, don't stop here. Watch the next video. It's more important than you think. I'll see you there.